I did find earlier quite a nice one, nice clay pipe. That would have been about 1760. Hi, my name is Monika. I'm a mudlark. What I do is come down to the riverbanks of the Thames and I search for historic items. And all the old historic items I find, I take to the Museum of London to be identified and recorded on their database. So it's a very interesting hobby and you never know what you'll find. That's a little echinoid fossil. It's quite sweet. I come maybe once or twice a week. We need to come when the tide is very low because when it's low we can see the foreshore. It's a tidal river, the Thames, and when the water comes in, the tide comes in, the water reaches right up there to the top of that green line up there. So if you come at the wrong time, you'd be underwater. When I come mudlarking, I have a tool for turning little stones over and for prodding things to see what they are. And I wear knee pads because if you look at the foreshore, there's bits of broken glass, all sorts of nasty things that can cut you quite badly, which is why I also wear gloves. Just down there, I can see a nice little bit of, I think that is early English porcelain. It looks quite pretty. I have no idea how big it is. It's probably only tiny. Oh, how beautiful. Those flowers have seen the light in 200 years. So when we have a nice bit of porcelain like that, with a pattern on it, we take it down to the water to give it a wash, because then you can see it so much nicer. Historically, the children who used to do mudlarking in the 19th century were very, very poor and they did it for money. They would find scraps of coal, bits of rope and sell it just to buy food. We all have to have a licence to mudlark and I always carry my licence with me. We're not allowed to sell any of our finds because fundamentally they are London finds and they kind of belong to London. Giovanni. Giovanni, yes. Giovanni.
All these Italian names and all. Hi, how are you?
Let's see what you found today.
So it's a lead token, probably early 1700s, late 1600s, would you say? Yeah. So it's got initials on this side of a person who may have owned a shop, and then some symbols.
Sometimes you'll find ones with birds and animals on.
Yeah.
Quite often they have little crosses on them to imitate coins. We learn an awful lot about our finds because every time we take something to the museum, we meet a museum officer and we show him everything we found and he tells us what we have. Oh, hell pipe.
What have you found? Oh, you found one too. Oh, that's a nice one. Animal teeth. I like the teeth. This is where they're just bones absolutely everywhere. The river sorts it into a line and you find all sorts of bones. And sometimes you find interesting bone artefacts.
Yeah, it would have taken me a little bit more time. The bits that
Oh, I
broke
like
off.
that.
That's
What's
pretty,
that coin?
isn't it? I think it's a George.
No, when did you find that?
This morning. Nice little cod marble, a few clay pipes. This is the foot from a great big cooking pot. I'd say that's an average day.
The most unusual find for me, which actually Monika identified for me, is this absolutely tiny, weeny silver coin, which is 400 years old, and it's a halfpenny.
Welcome to my house and my collection. I've been collecting finds from the River Thames for 9 years now, and I have quite a lot of the pottery. Up here, that is a Roman boar skull. The medieval shelf here, a great big chopping knife that was used to cut up the meat. It's absolutely classic Jordan clay pipe. A lovely collection of children's toys. Over here, I have a syphilis syringe. This is really very exciting and I find very poignant. In the 1700s, syphilis was a curse, and in those days they believed that when you had sores on your willy, the best thing to do was to inject mercury salts into your willy using a syphilis syringe like this. Ammonites, shells. The Thames is basically an archaeological site. It's 28 miles of history. We have history going back to the Romans and beyond. I have to handle this very carefully. A Roman oil lamp. So this is nearly 2,000 years old. It would have been used by Romans in Londinium. When I found this, I was so excited. I was just over the moon. This oil lamp, because it is so old and very special, had to be taken to the Museum of London to be registered.